Good afternoon, everybody. Back at the shop. Gonna mess around a little bit more with the Polaris. I posted a video on it, me getting it. I have another project, but as you can hear, it's raining pretty good. I was gonna take some video of it. Picked it up yesterday, Honda 350 Rancher, but due to the rain, I'm not gonna go out and film that. What I'm going to do, kind of give you an overview of what I'm going to get into today. Now this thing had what I'm going to guess was a relay for a winch that should have been connected to the battery, blah, blah, blah. Well, I believe that this solenoid, starter solenoid, went bad, or suspected it was bad. It's not bad. I tested it. It clicks over fine. It was probably a bad ground, so I cleaned up the mounting locations, put new hardware on it. I'm going to hook up the cables back to it, hook in the battery. Actually, I have the battery on charge, and it's got a green light, so that's good to go. And then I'm going to see what happens when the starter goes off, because I have a feeling that the starter right there is not working properly. So I'm going to set camera up and we'll video some of that, and hopefully we'll hear this thing turn over. Now I'm going to also, I got to take apart the pull starter, because obviously it doesn't work, and I could use that as an, obviously an auxiliary start method, if that would work, but I don't even know what parts it's going to need to fix that. So put this thing down, get busy. Right now I'm just reconnecting the factory original starter solenoid to test the starter to see if the starter works. I gotta continue with removing the plastics, the wheel well or the foot wells and the front plastics to get to the, just to be able to get into the carburetor area to see about getting the starter out. It's packed in there under all these plastics and the CVT drive and all that stuff. So I will, after I check this step out to see if the starter's going to work, I'll dig into that. But for whatever reason, that battery don't want to go back in there, and I know what reason that is. The bolts I used to bolt that solenoid on, keep them from getting in there. So I'm just going to temporarily set the battery here to where I can get it hooked up to make sure this thing's going to function. All right, let's see what happens here. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. All right, obviously we had problems, no juice getting anywhere. So right now I'm just gonna stop, finish deleting all this crap, and then get a rough idea of where the wires are going. And I'll come back when I get something figured out. And this front plastic's coming off as well. Holy shit, I should have had that on video. That plastic is an epic bitch to take off of this fucking thing. God damn. I mean, what a job. Junk. Polaris, junk. I know that won't bode well for whoever buys it, but that's my opinion. Holy crap. bent. Who knows why? Wires scabbed in here. I don't know. Gonna have to remove that. Just untold crap that I had to take off just to get into that thing. I'm not so sure. I'm at a loss for words, really. But there's that part. Now I need to take this bolt out right here. There should be one, it might be, no, that's it, just that bolt. And this thing will come off. Then I'll be able to get in under the fuel tank and get this piece. Well, it's already unbolted, so I can pull it off, but I have to take the fuel tank off first. But yeah, let's get back to it. What a mess. Hard to believe that's all that was holding that on there. Put the bolt back where I got it from so I remember where it goes. Remember me saying the fuel deal was jacked up, so I gotta deal with that. Okay, now I'm going to take the fuel selector valve off, hopefully without breaking it like I did the 300 Magnum. These lines look just about as hard and brittle as that was. That gas smells bad too. Come on, baby. Ooh, got that one off. Got that one off. There we go. Fuel tank is off. I got to go in from the other side to take the hose clamp off for that. Come on, there we go. And she's off. Okay, now we have access to the starter. Right in there. I can try to jump it with jumper cables. I'll put a ground lead there, positive lead there, and then touch the battery and just see if that starter goes off. All right, I've got the cables hooked up to the starter. Oh, that starter's bad. Damn it. Starter's got to come off. To see what's wrong with it. Okay. So in order to get the pull starter off, I gotta take this floorboard out, which I'm sure is not gonna be fun. Footboard off. Washers and shims and all kinds of crap. Oh boy. Those bolts right there are broke off. The screw heads are broke off. All right, let's see. There should be 8mm. Should be. Look at all that water. Son of a bitch. Ah. All right, there's that. I'm gonna shut the camera off. I'm gonna take the pull starter over to the bench and pull it apart and see what's wrong with it. Maybe see if I can get parts for it instead of ordering a whole new thing. But my gut's telling me that's gonna have to come off and be clean. Stator's underneath of that. That's the flywheel. Worst case scenario, just cleaned out. Or best case scenario, just cleaned out, the rust cleaned off for the pickups and whatnot to make spark or to make power. Worst case, stator's ruined because of the water, but we'll see.
Let's utilize this plate.
Okay, this is the pull starter. As you can see, it's a freaking mess. It's full of sludge, mud, whatever the hell else is in there. The pull rope is pulled clear to its limits. So that means the spring or whatever inside there is either rusted, broken, or something's happened to it. Missing maybe, who knows. So I'm gonna take this out, pull this cap off, and then, well, probably I'm gonna pull the rope out first and untie it. Okay. Now when I go to put that back in, I'll feed a wire in through and then be able to pull it back out. But for right now, my money's on that standard. So let's see, 3/8. Well, I could be wrong. It could be 10mm, but I think 10mm is a little too small. 10mm. I never understand this. Why in the hell do these mismatch all these bolts and hardware? This is probably gonna spin too. I don't even know if I can get the springs separate, even if it is broken. Okay, there's the dog that when you pull, this is supposed to flip out and catch the flywheel. It definitely needs some help. Oh no, look at that. The spring is still good. I find that very hard to believe, but it is. There's a little shim or bushing right there. So anybody that's ever dealt with one of these things, if you pull that thing out of there, you're in for a hell of a ride to try to get it back together. So I'm just gonna lube the shit out of it.
So I was thinking with some shorter bolts, the bottom is fully accessible.
Try to get that inner spring to latch onto that.
The bolts fit there perfectly.
I'm not so sure.
They can go up or down with the nuts on the bottom or the nuts on the top. And then I was also thinking, you know, if I got a bolt that's long enough, I could put a bolt through.
I'm sure there's an easy way to do this, but I don't know what it is.
And the nut here. So when I made these hangers, I took measurements from the old axle, from the new axle, from the frame to the frame. I somehow got it wrong. And I tried meticulously to make sure everything was really on point. Because I know that when you have the front end just a little bit out, you can be out of your alignment too. And I don't want to be very tired and stuff. So I took my time and made sure everything was perfect. But somehow, the angle of things got off a little bit. Some of that's to do with when I welded, things shrink and move. So, look at this. I got like 3/16 of a space between here. I'm just welding it up. The weld shrinks and it just moves any steel that it's in its way. So somehow I ended up a half an inch off between this lead spring and the other lead spring on the back. And on the front, I'm an inch off. I honestly don't know how that happened. Like I said, I really was paying attention to everything that I was doing. I double, triple checked everything. And I just have no idea how that happened. And everything needs to move in. So I can't just space it out a little bit to make it work. So I absolutely hate to do it, but I'm just going to start over from scratch. I'm going to make these mounts from complete scratch. I didn't have the steel to do it, but today I went and I got all the steel that I need to do this. I was using scrap steel to do everything that I've done so far. But now I actually just went out and bought some steel. It took me a half a day to go get it, but now I have the steel I need to make this. But the good news is,
Well, I got it in there. I know I didn't talk a whole lot, but concentrating. I don't know how I got it in there that quickly, but I'm gonna go slide it on there and just see if it'll pull the motor over. I got it together. The engine's hard to pull over with that pull rope, so it's out of the way. It's fixed. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull the starter and see if I can bench test it. If it needs a new starter, I'll put that on the list to order shit. So right now, I'll just stop the video now until I get that starter out, and then we'll tear it down on the bench. Okay, I pulled the starter out. The gear was stuck. I've since gotten it loose, but it's pretty grindy in there. So, but I'm gonna bench test it anyways and just see what happens. I'm gonna put these weak ass leads on there, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to turn, but it's unreliable, so I'll have to probably get a new one. And after this, I'm done for the day. I'm tired of fucking with this piece of shit, and it's just one thing after another, it appears, and it's going to be a fucking money pit, and I ain't going to make a penny off of this if I even get it running. Junk. All I'm doing is scratching off a good spot for contact. Yeah, see, fucking works. Son of a bitch. It's just the bearing inside that is shot because it got wet or something. I don't know, but and I ain't tearing that apart. Just Yeah.
Case that I already sandblasted and painted.
So there you go. That's
I didn't pay that much for it.
Polaris for you.
I spent a day going to get it. I also spent a day going to get this.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments or solutions to some of my problems, for one, that spring, how the hell do I get it in there? You guys send me something or whatever, comment, make suggestions, whatever. I appreciate anything. And again, thanks for watching.